I have a treat for you all in the form of an interview with the ever so successful and sought after British commercial photographer and YouTuber Scott from Tin House Studios. I dare say you have seen his short, sharp, snappy, and incredibly helpful videos pop up here on YouTube. And if you haven't, this is a perfect introduction to the Tin House Studios channel, what Scott does for a living, and the types of things that he discusses on his very own channel. In this interview, Scott reveals many insights into things like shooting for big projects with big budgets, and also his journey from everyday photographer charging an average rate working for himself to being represented by one of the prestigious agencies in London. He uncovers all the bits and pieces and things that you probably have been wondering about that type of photography world, and I found so many of the things that he said just so fascinating. I was incredibly grateful for all that Scott shared, and I both admire and commend his transparency and how much he is willing to share with the photography community here online. Myself being new to the professional world, I gleaned so much from this chat with Scott, not only the wealth of knowledge that he is, but also the drive and dedication that he has shown throughout his career. If you aren't a professional photographer or an aspiring one, I do encourage you to still give this chat a listen, as I guarantee you will find it interesting. We cover everything from gear to process, mindset, and also the harsh realities of what it's like to work on the bigger paying jobs. Linked below is Scott's website, where you can see his absolutely incredible work and also browse through his resources and services, which might be the thing that you need to kickstart your creative career or elevate the one that you already have. A massive thank you to Scott for taking the time out to come on the channel and have this chat and share all his knowledge, experience, and expertise with us. It was a delight. I hope you enjoy the chat and share it with a friend who you think might enjoy it as well. Welcome to the channel, Scott. It's so lovely to have you. I'm a very big fan. Thank you for making the time. If you could start off with maybe just giving people a little bit of background on you and who you are, if they haven't already discovered you on YouTube or worked with you before.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So on YouTube, I go under the name of Tin House Studios, which is the name of my studio, is what our youngest son used to call it. He used to think I lived here, which is probably doesn't say great things about my work-life balance. But he used to think I lived in the tin house as a tin roof. So Tin House Studio is my YouTube channel. It's like an entirely separate business from my main one, which is me as a photographer. But I set it up during COVID, just because I was a bit bored and there wasn't a great deal going on. And then I carried on with it because it turned to quite a successful business. But my main income and majority of my working hours, I trade under my own name of Scott Chacino, but it's actually pronounced Chathino, but I anglicize it for people.
Okay.
And I shoot commercial ad campaigns for sort of like the big brands in the world. So we sort of travel around the world, shooting adverts with my agent and producer. And, yeah, that's kind of what we do.
Nice. Oh, sounds very exciting. And it sounds like you've got a lot going on. Like you've got a very strong presence in like on YouTube with content creation and workshops and all those kind of things, but then you're also doing like professional work. So yeah, it's a lot to juggle, I imagine. But you shoot, the work I've seen you shoot is like drinks and food kind of predominantly. Is that correct?
Yeah, since COVID, I had a bit of an early midlife crisis. I think I'm now having the proper one, but I was a portrait photographer for over a decade.
Oh,
Did
okay.
celebrity portraits, some fashion work. I had an agent and we shot like reasonably big campaigns. Did that for a decade. It was all right. It was
Mm.
kind of like the money was okay. The work was very stressful. The social life was very intense. And as COVID happened, I decided to kind of reinvent myself as a still life photographer.
Mm-hmm.
I initially started with food because I knew that the easiest way to get noticed would be to do one thing in one style.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to get picked up. Then I moved into drink as well. Then on to more like still life product work, so shoes, cosmetics, that sort of thing. And now full circle back into portraits, but in the current style. So it's, yeah, started off very small and then sort of like opened up as I got more recognized in what I was doing, because it's quite a rebrand from doing portrait work and fashion work and like celebrity work to go into still life. So kept it small to start with and then sort of opened up a bit.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Oh, that's really interesting, like, yeah, direction to go in. What drew you to still life or, like, particularly kind of food and drink? Because when I've looked at your website, all of your work is, like, stunning and it's very bold and it really, like, stands out, but the way you photograph, yeah, food and drink and stuff, I think is, like, very, very grabbing. Are you into, like, food and drink? Are you a person that's, like, attracted to those things particularly?
Um, no more so than anyone else, I'd say.
Okay.
I can't cook. Well, I can cook, but you wouldn't want to eat
You
it.
wouldn't wanna
It's like I cook myself, but I would never put others through that.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I'm not particularly like a foodie or anything like that. But I just think like, everyone eats food. Everyone
Mhm.
has food they like or food that like makes them think of their childhood or like fun times or happy times. So a lot of the food I photograph isn't foodie food. It's not like fancy food or anything. It'll be like a bowl of cereal
Yeah, it's
or
quite simple,
beans on
yeah.
toast. Yeah, yeah, very much just like probably like student food really. But yeah, nothing too fancy and elaborate. Which
Yeah.
coincidentally, most of the brands with the biggest marketing budgets do that sort of food. So if you think of your McDonald's and places like
Yes,
that and
that's so
Coca-Cola's,
true.
that's where the big marketing budget is. So shooting gourmet food, not much use in
That's
a
so
commercial
true.
sense.
I actually never thought about that until you've just mentioned it now that that's yeah, like, that's sort of the mainstream food and, the big brands are obviously the ones with the big budgets, and that is generally, like, your soft drinks and your crisps and all those things.
Yep.
So what does that
Yep.
say about us as, people who are, like, consuming those things? That's so true because 'cause I've been doing some restaurant like, shooting restaurants and, on film, which has been, like, you know, fun, but also anxiety inducing. So I'm always worried that I've completely fucked it up. But, yeah, and, like, shooting food and it's all this, like, yeah, really nicely plated stuff but, like, yeah, they don't have much budget. They're
Exactly.
I'm never making, like, loads and loads of money and then I'm shooting it on film, so my overheads are quite high but I just like doing it like that. But that's so true. Yeah, I'll have to work my way up to, Coca-Cola, um, on film maybe, probably not.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, there's yeah, I think with the restaurant thing, a lot of people who want to be food photographers fall into the trap of doing that. And what currency
Mm.
do you work in on your channel? Do you use US dollars as a
On,
currency or
um,
on
it
YouTube? Do you talk
oh,
in
on
dollars or
YouTube?
do you
On YouTube, I earn in Australian dollars. Yeah.
in Australian?
Yeah.
How
Yeah, I get
they're
paid in
so they are.
Australian dollars, yeah.
I think it's like 2 Australian dollars to a British pound.
I think that's
Um,
right. Yeah, it's like
I'm getting
double.
really good at
Yeah.
exchange rates with all the people I speak to now. So, like in the UK, you might get maybe $1,000 to shoot a restaurant,
Mhm.
and it might be once a year they need that doing.
Yeah.
Um, but then, like, if there's somebody who's got like a big ad campaign for a packet of crisps, they might have 250,000 for the day. There's like it's quite a
Really?
big,
Oh my
yeah, it's a
god.
big chasm. So everyone's sitting there going, "I'm going to photograph this really expensive rare bird they've roasted," and it's like,
Yeah.
"Great, I'm going to go and get a bag of like Wotsits or cheese puffs, and
Show me
that'll
the
be where we
money
dine
with
out."
the
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh
because
my
like,
god,
and
that's
I
so
think like
funny.
as much as I am a photographer, a creative, and all the rest of it, I also need to make enough money to like provide.
Of
There's
course,
a lot
yeah.
of like
Mm.
it's great doing it for the art, but also I have a mentality that if I can make, I'll talk in your currency, hopefully for the duration of this. If I can make 200,000 in a day, then I've got the rest of the year to do whatever I want without the fear of making money each month.
Mm.
Whereas if I'm making like $1,000 here, $1,000 there, it's a constant grind and a constant hustle, and it's always trying to find new work. And
Yeah,
I think it's much easier to find one $200,000 job than to find $200,000 worth of $1,000 jobs.
that's so
But
true.
the brain trick is you get your first $1,000 job and you're like, yes, I've already got one, but
Yeah.
you've got another
You've got more to
boatload to find, which is actually is quite difficult to do.
it is quite a grind, like, I'm in that right now, like, I'm doing that and realizing, how much you have to advocate for yourself and, outreach and network and get to know people, and you've gotta do, some sort of, like, free work or in exchange for, you know, product maybe if you wanna, like, break into a space so you can build up your portfolio, and once I've kind of got myself going in one area, I then sort of think, "Oh, I'd love to do that." So then I think, "Oh, well, I need
that kind of work to show that. So then I've got to make that work, and then that takes time. And before you know it, it's like a month's gone. And then, you know what I mean? So it's a very like long, not to say that I'm doing it correctly, but you know, yeah, I'm learning so much, stepping into the like professional world. And there's just, I just can't get over how much there is to learn on like all fronts, you know, like you're
Yeah.
building a website. Then I'm like, how do I invoice people? Or like, how do I keep track of like my own incomings? Like what's an expense? Like I watched your video before about red flag clients, and I feel like I've already had all of like all and I could have added some to your list as well. So it's like a lot of it's like, yeah, dealing with people as well, and knowing how to, yeah, talk to them and get across like your vision, or, you know, yeah, it's just, there's just so many things to do. It's so much more than, it becomes not really even about taking like the photo park kind of is like way down the list before we even get there,
Yeah.
because there's all these other things kind of, I mean, I'm sure you know all of this because like you're, you know, very far along, but I feel like when I watch your channel, I always learn something from where you are. And I love how transparent you are with information and how straightforward you are. You know, I feel like you're really offering people like me, or even people who are maybe a couple of steps ahead of me, a lot of value in your videos. Is that something that's important to you, to kind of like nurture other photographers in the community and share with them?
Yeah, definitely. I think like in our industry, there's a lot of, well, there's a lot of nepotism.
Mm,
And if you're not in the right family, it's very hard to break in or to even know how to break in. So I spent probably 12 years working like an absolute dog, getting nowhere. And then suddenly I discovered certain things were available to me. And I was like, oh, if I go and speak to this person, I don't have to do any of this stuff. And
mm,
um, it's little things like I didn't know when I started in photography that if you want to do a big shoot, you have to have an agent, you have to have a producer.
okay. See, I didn't know
Nobody
that.
told me.
I didn't know
Like,
that.
no, but why would you? Like, no one comes around your school on career day and goes, if you want to make loads of money taking photographs, you need to have an agent. And I worked out like, I mean, there's only a few places in the world which have agents. It's kind of like specific to New York, London, Paris, which is where most of the ad campaigns happen.
Okay.
So you need to get an agent in one of those cities, regardless of where you live. You'd have to live there to have one.
Mm.
Um, and they pretty much get all the big jobs because nobody's trusting a creative like me with hundreds of thousands of pounds and assuming I'm going to deliver. They want
Yeah.
to know that you have the backing of an agent with a production company and all the rest of it to make sure the shoot goes to plan.
Mm.
Um, but no one told me that. And although I think I worked it out, 0.1% of professionals in the UK have an agent. It's a very small number.
Wow.
Most of the 99.9% don't know agents exist, and they don't know you have to have one, and that you have to email one your portfolio.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine the actual success rate of people who know you need one and then actually approach one is like,
Mm.
I think I've had like I've one-to-one clients I do like mentorships with.
Mm.
And 5 of them so far have now got agents, which is like a disproportionate representation of the
Yeah. Yeah.
photography community. But yeah, because no one knows, like no one told me that sort of stuff. And I also discovered upon doing the YouTube channel that it's really frowned upon to be on YouTube as a photographer, which is why I use a different name.
Oh,
So I don't use
okay.
my own. Yeah, it was
Okay.
made
What
very clear to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
For what reasons? If you're willing to talk about it, or
yeah.
what you
It
suspect that?
just well, there's a couple of reasons I think. One is that it's just really frowned upon to be an educator if you're a commercial photographer.
Okay.
It's like if you're a photographer, you're a photographer. That's what you do. You
Okay. You
don't
shouldn't be like giving, like teaching, like those who can't do teach. Like, is it sort of like
exact.
that sort
Yeah,
of
exactly.
stigma?
Very
Yeah.
much like
Mm.
that. And it's also like don't be on TikTok, don't be on YouTube. Like just
Mm. Like it's seen as
that's not what we
vapid, or
do.
kind of
Yeah, it's just like a cheap sort of thing to be
yeah.
doing. It seemed very like, oh, you do that, do you? It's a bit,
Mm. Bit naff.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I kind of get it because it is such an elitist industry. Um, but then the problem is there's so many talented photographers who never get a chance at doing the big jobs just because they just don't know how to get there.
Mm.
So I thought I'd risk it during lockdown. Now my current agent's actually okay with me doing this. So I changed agents a while ago. He was like, "Yeah, I don't see any problems with it. You're already getting big jobs. They're not going to suddenly not book you because
Yeah.
you're on social media." But I have had it twice now where I've gone into ad agencies to meet with them, and they're like, "Oh, so and so says he watches you on YouTube," and there's this moment of going, "Shit, this could backfire." This.
Oh my God. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I can understand where they're coming from and the whole kind of thing, but I think it's really silly because I think I know what you mean, because even in I mean, I'm not going to risk losing any jobs because my YouTube channel, but from an artistic point of view, some of the discourse I've had with photographers, you get the feeling that they don't really respect you as a photographer, even just sort of personally or as a hobbyist photographer if you're on YouTube, because they think that, oh, photography YouTubers, they're just trying to plug stuff or get views. And yeah, it's all very kind of like vapid, and you're like an influencer and all these things. Like there's these negative kind of things attached to it for sure that I've felt when I was writing for F-Stoppers as well. I feel like a lot of people commenting were kind of like, oh, well, you're just one of those like photography YouTubers, so you're not like a real photographer.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's that kind of attitude, which is very small-minded and silly, especially now because YouTube is like something that's growing more and more and is like taking over sort of TV and traditional kind of like media, like almost, like it's taking up a lot of space, and I think it's only going to grow for entertainment purposes. So yeah, and it's funny because I've got a lot of opportunities from YouTube as well. Like if I hadn't have done this, then I wouldn't be experiencing a lot of the other success that I've had. And it's been a great way to show my build my skills and show my skills in other areas. So like some of the jobs I've been getting are their photography, but then they kind of say, oh, we'd, love for you to talk about the product or be in the videos that you do for it, because we've seen that you can present. So it's you were talking in one of your videos about diversifying your income in this sort of current climate, and that's been really useful to me to not just be relying on my photography skills, but also be someone who can present or is comfortable on camera, whether that's doing a workshop or it's, like speaking for a brand who maybe doesn't want to get on camera, or all these different things that it's opened up. So I think it is, small-minded to think that being on YouTube kind of gives you that stigma, but I can understand like, that moment where they're like, oh, we've seen you on YouTube and you're in this room of people and they're all like, oh.
Yeah, and I think, you're right, actually. It does come from the photography side as well. I obviously get a load of hate. I don't know how bad your comment section is, but I get a lot of hate from middle-aged white men.
Yes, me too.
Specifically. I don't think I've ever blocked anyone who's not a middle-aged white man. But then I've also never had any hate from anybody who's ever achieved anything in photography. And I just like, I probably have to block maybe 10 people a week on YouTube.
Wow.
And then you get the death threat emails, which is always fun.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah, I get quite a lot of those.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry. Oh
no, it's okay.
You seem like you're pretty thick-skinned. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's but it's I think it's really interesting. It's there's obviously, and this is part of the reason I have the YouTube channel. There's an idea as to how to become a professional photographer and what a professional photographer is because of YouTube and the internet. And it is completely wrong. So I offer an alternative view as somebody who does do the big ad campaigns and has an agent, and people get really angry that it's outside of their understanding of what the industry is. It's a very strange one, and it's always the same sorts of people who get angry like that. And I just think, just ignore those sorts of people.
Fuck 'em.
But the interesting thing is, and one of the things I like to do, because I think it's important, is to be like transparent about money, because YouTube obviously makes a reasonably large sum of money for people who are on it. I think like last year I made, it equates like $160,000 from YouTube, and it's like that's a substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's also worth saying
income,
that. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, especially where I live, it's like really cheap to live here. It's although I'm giving information to people, I am being paid for it. And then of course there is always like some of the most useful information I know I can't put on YouTube because I know that nobody will watch it because it's not of interest. And some of the least useful information I know that if I make a video about it, loads of people will watch it. So even the information you can give away for free is very like tainted by the money as well. So although I'm like, yes, I'm very honest and open, like I also try and let people know, yes, there's also a bias here, because if I'm going to take time away from my family and from my work to make a
Mm.
YouTube video, I have to make money from it. I'd love to do it out of the goodness of my heart, but there needs to be some reward in it for me. So sometimes you are making videos just because you know it will please people. And like, if you look at my videos going most popular to least popular and go to the least popular ones, they've probably got the most useful information in them, and the most popular ones are pretty useless. But sadly, that's how YouTube works.
Oh dear, so funny. I love how brutally honest you are, Scott. It's very funny. Yeah, I think I really relate to that, in that it's hard to balance uploading on YouTube and uploading what you want to, do and say, and how you want to package it. Like, the title and thumbnail thing is always, it's like, oh, I'm like, because I do, we do it with my partner, and it's like, I'll say that, but then, oh, is that a bit like misleading, or is that, but then if you just title something kind of honestly and sort of boringly of like, this is what it is, then it doesn't do very well. So like, you are pushed to do these things.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I
mean,
think people get annoyed about it, but like you say, it takes a lot of time to make videos and do this. And I'm the same as you. Like, if I'm going to take time out from my family, then it has to have, like some kind of reward,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like, so I'm very obviously meticulous in my time management. So for me to do, I do between 2 and 3 videos a week on YouTube, which equates to 1 day filming a month and 1 day editing. And then all of the titles are AI generated, and all of the
Wow.
descriptions are AI generated. Because I don't have time. I was like, I could spend time making them, and I worked out the difference in views to time. And this is where a lot of photographers in photography, not YouTube, fall flat. They spend loads of time focusing on something which makes very little difference. Now, the title makes a difference, but the difference between an AI generated title and my own title is 0. So I was like,
Okay.
AI generate them. So I put in a
Yeah,
description of
yep.
what it is, and I use like this vidIQ app.
Yes, we have that.
And
Yeah.
and it's got the title and then
Mm.
also the description. I've never written a description. I just
Yep.
write in the
Yes.
first like 10 words and go generate and then pop it in there.
Yes.
And then I use Canva to make thumbnails because it's quicker than Photoshop.
Yeah, so do we. It's so much
Yes,
quicker than Photoshop.
it's so much
and
quicker.
people
I was
insist
like,
on
"Can't
using
believe
Photoshop
this."
because they don't want it for like a snobbery. Like, oh no, I know how to use Photoshop, so I'll use Photoshop. And I keep telling people, I'm like, just use Canva. It's so much quicker because you
Canva's the
don't
way.
you don't have enough to get lost in all the, you just do it and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, bang, done.
Background removement
Yes.
sorted. Because
Yes.
I do a screenshot of the video, background removement, put it on an orange background because orange performs better than any other color for some bizarre reason.
Okay.
And then put white text on the left-hand side. It's like a copy and paste job. But yeah, I think like having these like things where you keep it all regimented. So I come in on a Saturday, film on the Saturday, edit on the Sunday, upload overnight, and then Monday morning I'll just schedule the whole month's content and then disappear for the month, not think about YouTube again, and then do the next month's.
Do the next one.
It's kind of like,
I'm in
yeah.
awe of you. Oh my God. This is like
kinda
the
like
dream system. Yeah. I think about this,
takes
but
a lot
I
of
can never
planning.
get
It
to
takes
the,
a lot of
yes,
planning.
that's the thing. These things are good and you hear them and you're like, oh, that's really good. I should do that. But then I'm like, oh, I've got to like, I don't know, unload the dishwasher and do this and do that. And then I never get time to actually plan to do the thing that will streamline everything, that will give me back more time. Like it's, yeah, but it's sounds like a dream. And I think that kind of is the way you have to do it if you're going to be consistent and do YouTube like long term. Like I think
it's
so
the only
many
cost
people,
effective way as well. Because I know I've got friends who do like a video. They'll be like, I need a video today. So they do a video that day, think of the idea, film the video, but they just film one video. I'm like, if you've got it all set up, you might as well do 10 because you're already set up. Just keep going and then like edit them all in one go and upload.
Definitely.
Like, it's just like,
yeah, I think there's the only thing that I will say is certain sort of styles of channels are easier to do that. Like they're more conducive to it, like the way you do it, which is genius because you're like, here's my thing that I'm going to tell you. It's really good. I'm just going to give it to you straight. And people are like, hooked. You don't need any B-roll really because you're kind of just the thing. And you are a very good speaker as well. I feel like some people aren't as confident, so then they want to put stuff in the video to, do you know what I mean? Like it depends what sort of person you are. It depends what sort of, style of content you're making. If you get really into the Like we have the sort of videography side, and then the editing, because you can go down a real rabbit hole with those things and be really creative, which I find really interesting and fulfilling. And it does keep it interesting. So and we've learned things about that we're now applying in a professional sense with work, which is good because I feel like video is it's very much on the rise. And I was going to talk to you about that later on in the interview, but yeah, it depends what sort of channel you have, whether you can do those batch recorded things, or if you're kind of, there's other people I see, like, I don't know if you watch Sir, his channel, like SERR. His videos are like films, but he'll upload kind of like once every 8 months, and then he gets like huge views and makes this like masterpiece.
I know the sort of thing.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's so many different ways you can do it, which is, why I love it. But I think the way that you've got it all dialed in like that is very, very clever.
Yeah, I mean, like my preferred method is actually a sort of almost vlog narrative video. But I worked out the time it takes to the return on investment for that time just makes, like, I do probably one every 3 months now, because I like making them. I like shooting all the video and making like a really beautiful, like sort of 10-15 minute video with like a narrative to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't get any more views than me just sitting down and doing a straight 5 minute talk to camera.
Yes.
And as much as I love doing that, I'm like, this is great, but this is purely for my own vanity. So I just need to go and do the work. So I just sit down, talk to the camera, give good information out, make sure it's useful for people, so I'm not just wasting 5 minutes of their day. And yeah, it's sadly the case. But I'm like a massive like Casey Neistat fan, like Van Neistat fan. Like I love their sort of, especially Van Neistat's videos. Actually, I think they're very nice. And I'd love to make stuff like that, but it's just, it doesn't work for me. So I just suck it up and go, I like making these, they're fun to make, but people don't like watching them when I make them.
Well, you seem you're very self-aware, and you're very like accepting of reality in so many ways. So, well, I mean, to me, through this conversation and watching your videos, in that, you can sort of identify the way things are, or the problem, and then go, okay, what am I going to do to like fix it? And how can I make this work for me as best as I can? Like you've just said with the videos, or like the way you do things. And I think that's a very practical like approach to it. And I think that's really needed in the content creation kind of field. I think there's a lot of emotions with people to do with social media. I know you did a video a little while back that I was watching, and you said something to the effect of, the algorithm doesn't hate your photos. Like people not hate, but people don't like your photos. Like, you replace that word because the algorithm is sort of people, and you were just sort of expressing your ideas about social media. And I really resonated with it, because I get a lot of people messaging me with, they're very frustrated with how things are on Instagram. And I think there's a lot of kind of complaining, and it's, you've got to look at it like exactly like how you are. You've got to like assess the situation and find out like where you can fit in and how you can make it work, or just don't be on it, or be on it and accept that you're only going to get like this many likes. And also going back to, which you sort of have done a video on, I feel like you've done a video on everything, Scott, but like you did a video on kind of like what's your like your why, or that your reason. And it's something I always try and say to people, like, why do you want to be on social media? Like, what's the purpose? Because people are like, I want more likes and follows. And I'm like, yeah, but why? Like, just so that you can say that you have that? Because that's shit. Like, you need to come up with something better than that, because you're not going to get anywhere. Like, so, how do you feel about the whole kind of Instagram and social media and all that sort of stuff for photographers?
Yeah, I mean, I use LinkedIn and Instagram. I should use LinkedIn more because it's a better platform for photographers at the moment, but I use Instagram. And the way I see it, like, I don't care how many likes I get on a picture. It doesn't matter. Whether I get 5,000 likes or 5 likes on a photo, it doesn't change my career in any way whatsoever. What does change my career is that I'm pretty much friends with every art director, art buyer, and creative director in London on Instagram. So when they go for a poo at lunchtime, they sit down and scroll on their phone and they see me. And then when they come back from their bathroom break, they go, we need a photographer for this. And I'm the first name in their head. That is the only use of Instagram. Because
Mhm.
they're at the desk all day. If they go for a cigarette, I don't think people smoke anymore, actually.
They're probably
Maybe a vape.
vaping or
Probably
yeah.
vaping.
Yeah. Smoking's
Which,
like
yeah.
vintage now. Yeah.
I know. Every time I see someone smoke, it's like, oh,
I'm like,
can't
oh
do
my
that.
God. So kitsch. Yeah.
It's, yeah, old school. But it's yeah, so, you know, whatever they're doing that they're avoiding work by doing.
Mm.
I've got a friend who'll only pee whilst he's at work. He's like, I like to get paid.
Saves it for,
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, fair enough. So he's scrolling on his phone doing that. I'm like, that is Instagram. That is what it's used for as photographers. It's hoping that you pop up, and it's stories because they scroll stories. Doesn't matter how many real views you get. Like if I do a reel and I get 10,000 views, there's only 30 people in the world who might book me.
Yeah.
Like those 10,000 views mean nothing. But if those 30 people scroll through my story, go back to the desk, get a briefing, and instantly remember my name, that means something. So it's trying to reframe what you're using social media for, like followers and things like that are vanity metrics.
Yeah.
It's like me gaining more subscribers on YouTube doesn't make me any more money. Like if I double my subscribers, I won't make more money.
But you will if
It's
you
just a
double your
vanity metric.
views, but not your, But
yeah,
people
but
like
the
kind
money
of,
you get from AdSense is so minuscule. It's barely.
it is,
I
yeah.
don't know what it's like where you are, but like,
No, it's pretty shit. Yeah.
$100 a month, which is what, $3,000 a month,
Yeah.
and like, it's not great for the amount of like investment of time. But what does matter is when somebody finds me and goes, I want the career Scott has. He can tell me how to get that, and then they'll book me for either a one-to-one or a mentorship or something like that.
Yep.
And those people aren't the extra 50,000 subscribers. They're the one person who actually needs your service and would probably have found it anyway. So yeah, I think social media is a weird one. And like all these people are like, oh, I don't get as many likes anymore. And it's just like, so what?
Yeah.
There's like, I got more likes years
think
ago, but it didn't, I make more money now. It's just,
yeah, it's not
vanity metrics.
Yeah, it is, it's not translatable to like how successful you'll be or like how much money you make. I think a lot of it is like, to me, it's like ego. I think like people feel as though, like they're not being validated by everyone else. But
yeah,
I think what you've just said is great because you're saying how to you in your situation, it's not very useful because you're, a professional photographer. Like you already know the people to book the jobs. Like you're in this sort of niche where, like you know how to get the job and, you know the people and you're popping up in those places. So if that's what people want, then that's what they should do. But, a lot of people say that they'd love to have an exhibition or they'd love to be shown in like galleries or have a solo show and all these things. And it's kind of like, obviously you probably could get there through social media. Like I interviewed George Byrne recently and he's got quite a big social media presence and that was probably a part of his success. But I think, you're better off like getting to know people, like networking or like emailing people like directly, like with your work and like making those true connections rather than, I feel as if people feel like they need to wait until they've got 10,000 followers on Instagram and then getting this many likes and then they can start working towards their goal. Do you know what I mean? And it's like put such a ceiling on you and like that I just don't really think that should be holding you back unless your goal is to have 100,000 followers on Instagram. And if that is your like main goal, then you need to like go back to the drawing board because you know what I mean? Like unless you're, I don't know, 15 or something. It's
and I think it's interesting. It's so like if you did a poll of like 1,000 people who watch YouTube for their photography knowledge and asked them who the big photographers were, there wouldn't be a single photographer on their list who's actually a big photographer. Because everybody I know who makes serious money as a photographer and at a very high level has between 100 and 300 Instagram followers. It's fine not having that as your main source of income, but the problem comes when hundreds of thousands of people are following these people for advice to join a profession which this person doesn't even know about. And I think that's where the internet and YouTube has failed people. So everyone's like, I want to be a professional photographer. I subscribe to these people on Instagram or these people on YouTube. I follow their advice. I can't make enough money. Whereas these people are making money by selling workshops, by selling presets or, stuff like that, or sponsorship deals. The majority, I'm the only photographer in my industry in the country on YouTube.
Wow.
There was nobody else on there. And it's such a weird thing that all of the great photographers in our industry aren't known by anybody
Yeah.
on YouTube. They wouldn't even know they exist. And it's such a weird, like, it's one of the reasons I started the channel is because I spent years following various people on YouTube and being like, well, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. And then when I was introduced to somebody who was actually a top photographer charging 6 figures a day, they're like, what are you doing that for? That's obviously not a valid career path. I was like, what? I've been following this guy. And they're like, yeah, you that's not how the industry works. Come and do this. And I was like, oh, brilliant. That's really helpful. Thanks. Sorry, I'm coming down with an illness, hence the excessive water drinking.
Oh, shame.
But I know, just in time for another big job. Is always the way.
Yes, yeah, always the way. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I mean, like, social media is such a weird place, but I don't like, if you want to be a professional photographer, you don't need to be on social media at all. Like,
Yeah.
if you can stomach it and you can do little bits, then great. The only reason I'm on it is because I started when I thought it was a necessity, and now I've got that, like, you've only been in a bad relationship for 10 years and you think I better stay in it because I've already been here for 10 years. I've kind of got that, like, sunken cost fallacy going on with, like, social media. It's like, oh, I've been doing it for so long, I might as well carry on.
Carry on.
So,
Yeah. I need to, I can't give up now.
it does little for me, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you are, because I really, like I said, I really enjoy your videos and they're very genuine, and I appreciate your transparency. And I feel like I've learned a lot, especially starting off doing paid work, whatever that means, because I'm a bit of a mishmash of a lot of different things, because I'm also like in front of the camera a lot, and more so lately for things, and pitching sort of myself, and that's a very unique sort of position to be in. Like, that's not what a lot of people are doing. So or we'll sort of share the job and, like, do something with someone else and I'm in it, but then I'm shooting it. And and lately when we've been doing video, I'm doing a lot of the, I suppose, creative direction, I would call it, like, coming up with all of that, which I was going to ask you about completely selfishly, but I was talking to my partner about it, and I was saying, like, when I book these jobs, like a restaurant or like there's a new cheesecake shop that's opening and I'm going to shoot it and I'm really excited about it, and I have come up with this, whole plan for like what I will do, and they have this really interesting concept that's kind of linked to like high fashion. So I'm going to get a cake and like bring it into like a different environment that I can control and do like this styled sort of high fashion type shoot, but with the cake and blah, blah, blah. And I've got, I made a mood board, and I know that is what photographers do, but I love that process so much, kind of more than actually taking the photos. Like, I'd love to just do that and then just sort of stand there and watch people bring it all together and be like, good job, guys. Like, that would be like the thing that I would really want to do when I think about it. But then I also do like, photographing as well. So I was wondering, like, how far do you go as a photographer in that way before you're like, I kind of feel like I'm doing a lot just as the photographer that's for hire, if that makes sense. I don't know if this is something you experienced when you were like kind of getting into it. Like, I feel like I'm doing so many things and I'm bringing this whole idea and then I just get paid just for taking photos,
Yeah, I think when I started out, definitely that's the case. I think it's you're kind of expected to do everything.
Okay, yeah.
And the further along the career you go, the less you do. Yeah, I'll go through kind of the timeline of shooting and how much you do. So when you start out, I do it as a food photographer because you mentioned restaurants. And I do that now.
Yep.
A restaurant books you and they go, we want our menu shooting is the most common, boring sort of job you're going to get asked to do.
Yep.
And you're just expected to turn up and take pictures of the food.
Mm-hmm.
However you want. They don't know how they want it. They just want food pictures. Like, so they can go, here's chicken, order chicken. And then you'll get like a bit of a trendy bar, perhaps, who's a bit more like, they've got some creative people in there and they're like, as well as showing the food, we want to show the culture of this bar.
Yep.
Here's our concept. Come up with an idea of how we can shoot this. And you're sitting there going, right, we need to come up with the creative idea and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you shoot it, you light it, you edit it, the whole lot.
Uh-huh.
And then you sort of get to like your first commercial. And somebody called a creative director has already come up with a creative concept for you.
Okay.
And they do what's called a scamp. And the scamp is literally a digital drawing of what the photograph needs to look like.
Really?
This is both brilliant and awful.
That sounds
Brilliant,
awful.
because you know exactly what they want. It's awful because they have no respect for physics. They'll be like, so sharp shadows here, soft light there, coming from this direction with a shadow that way. It's like, Jesus Christ.
You're like, oh my
And
God, how am I going to do this?
exactly. And this is like your intro to commercial work. And it's like technical disaster. And it's really difficult to manage and it's very hard work. But you get assistants.
Okay.
And you get an editor. You know, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like say you get, what do you get for a restaurant shooter over there? It's like $1,000 or
I have a few restaurants that I work with and I charge them $650, but I think I need to put my prices.
Yeah, no, that's probably about right. Actually,
Yeah?
thinking about that. Yeah.
And it's sort of like
compared
once
to the UK.
Yeah, like once a month. And then there's talk of me going on a retainer for some of them. So I don't know if that'll be like more or less, or I don't know. I'm trying to work it all out.
They normally try and screw you to give you less. Never go for retainers.
Okay. Thanks for the tip.
But yeah, always avoid a retainer. You want it because it feels secure, and they know that, so they're paying you less.
Okay.
It's but it's not secure because they can ditch you at any time. It's
okay. It's a bit of a false kind of
false security. So say you're getting your $650 for your restaurant, you're probably getting $2,000 for this first commercial job. It'll be for some brand you've never heard of, which you can buy in like 3 supermarkets in the world. Then you get your slightly bigger commercial jobs, and they'll be paying you maybe $10,000 a day. And again, they will have like a creative brief, scamps exactly like we need 3 tomatoes, 2 waffles. We can't show too much of this. This must look like this. This is the colors for the back. The whole thing is drawn out.
Okay.
10,000 a day. You get an assistant. You get what's called a digital tech, which is somebody who stands at the computer and fires the camera for you, labels it, leaves like annotation notes and capture one for the retoucher. And you get your assistant, and that's the job.
Wow.
Then you get your much bigger jobs. And I don't like talking about the numbers for these, but they are significant, like 6 figures plus.
Wow.
And these are the kind of shoots that I do. And I will be hired because, and this is where it comes full circle, my personal work matches exactly what the creative director wants for the brand. So, and this is where the stars align and why you get paid so much money for it. They want me to shoot something that's in my style to their brief. So they've come up with a brief. Again, they've said what they want shooting, how they want it doing. And they know that you understand the difference between the 99.9 and the 0.1% of photographers. And that 0.1% is what's worth the 6 figures.
Yeah.
So you can be like, great, I'm going to adjust this. It will make it better. And they trust you to do that. And on these sorts of jobs, you have your own producer. So I have Karen, and Karen produces for me, and the producer's role is to make sure everything happens. It's like my train because I've got a studio here, but we shoot in London. So my train to London will be booked.
Okay.
The taxi will pick me up from the station, take me to my hotel. A driver will pick me up in the morning. My dinner reservations will be made each evening. The studio will be booked. My equipment will have been hired from the hire store. I'll have like 2 or 3 assistants. They'll turn up early to set up according to my sketches I've made. My Digitech fires the camera. My assistant sets up the camera. I have a lighting assistant just for lighting, and then a retoucher who we like send stuff through like a FTP server. And we'll then have like a food stylist. I mean, all of these will have stylists. We'll have like a food stylist, a prop stylist, a set stylist. And between us, we create the image. And I liaise with the creative director. And they'll be like, I guess the creative director almost looks at it from like, right, the brand needs to see this. And I come in going, got you. And this is how it's going to look. And when it comes down to pitching for a job, there'll probably only be 2 or 3 people in the world who'll be up for one job because they need it to be the perfect person, because the return on investment will be millions for the client. They'll be like, if we nail this ad campaign, we will make millions. If we ruin it, we will lose millions. So it's such a high sort of pressure thing. We often get what's called like a pre-light day, where we go in the day before just to like light the set. And then the majority of money's made in what's called usage.
Yes.
So once they've shot the image, your day rate kind of stays the same after a certain point, but the usage gets bigger. So it might be like, you know, an extra 6 figures in usage if they want like worldwide usage, or you know, a few 10,000 more if they want like specific local usage. But But yeah, and that's kind of how it goes from like
Mm.
purely creative at the beginning. You then have to go through the ranks of just being like
Yeah.
technician to then being creative again at the end.
It's, yeah. And
Like
so
those phases
I'm
where I knew
laughing because
everything about tech.
yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I'm laughing because I'm like just imagining the shoot when you're telling me, and I've got all these people in my head, and I feel like I'm getting anxious just thinking about it with all the high stakes. And then I'm thinking about me when I go in somewhere and I'm like, I'm going to take some like, you know, cool photos of your bar on my Yashica T4. Like, and it's like,
Yeah, but
you know, it's
I think
very
like
lo-fi. Like I'm not very technical. I've got I mean, I wouldn't be able to do those jobs because I'm not very good. I don't find like technical things interesting, but I like to think about how to make something look like that. But I always need someone else to do all that stuff.
I mean that's part of the joys of it. So for years I knew when I was in the middle bit, and you don't have, and this is what I didn't realize, you don't have to do the middle bit. You're like, I've got a one-to-one client who got a first camera 2 years ago, now has an agent.
Yeah,
Like
wow.
you don't have to go through all the different bits, but in the middle bit,
yeah.
I knew everything about tech. Like, and like, I learned everything. And even like when shooting with film and stuff, like I could tell you exactly what zone I was exposing at, what developer I was going to use, and I'd know already what the contact sheet would look like based on before I even pressed the button.
Yeah,
Just based on the developer I was going to use, the method of development, the film, how I was going to excel. Like I just knew everything. Like very much knew it. Don't know any of that anymore. And likewise with the technical of camera stuff, like we turn up on a shoot, I'll be midway through a shoot, I'll press the camera button and it won't work. And I just hold the camera up and someone puts a new one in my hand and I take a shot. And at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, camera 2 and camera 3 stopped working today. What's wrong with them? It's like, well, the battery is flat in camera 2 and you put self-timer mode on camera 3. I was like, oh, okay. So they're all good, are they? They're like, yeah, you're an idiot. I was like, okay, fair enough.
You sound like me. That's what I'm like.
So,
my partner has to be like, oh God.
But you have these technical people to help you with this. And it's the same, like we use the Broncolor Scoro packs. These like what's that in Australia? $28,000 packs with $5,000 light heads on them.
Oh my God.
I don't even know how to turn them on. Like, because I learned the graphics system, which was a system before that. That's what I was using when I was shooting and doing most of the work.
Yeah.
So like, if the assistant's not in the room, I don't know how to change it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to use Photoshop at all.
Neither do I.
Like computer stuff, I have someone who comes in every weekend to like sort my computer mess out.
Really?
So like, you don't need to know the tech.
Yeah, you're living the dream,
as much
Scott.
as you
Your
used to.
life is like lush.
Oh, no, it's pretty stressful.
I
It's just-
mean, I'm sure it's, but the way you've got things, you've outsourced things, and like, yeah, it's just, you know, that's how because one of my questions is like, how do you balance everything, and how do you put out so much content, and then also do these big jobs and have a family, and like all these, like it was I was like, wow. But like now that I'm speaking to you, it's all like
it's all hyper
coming
efficiency
together. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have like staff in the studio during the week. Then I have like a digital guy in at the weekends. But even like YouTube, so like we sit down, I plan all my YouTube videos, and I've probably got like 200 YouTube video titles already written out with 3 bullet points into each one. So I sit down in the evenings, and once you had one idea,
yeah, then they
just
start
keep
really
coming.
flowing, don't they? Yeah. Yep.
So then like I pick the 10 easiest ideas to film.
Yep.
And I do those. I always do the 10 easiest, never the 10 hardest. Film those in one day. My digi guy's already done like audio presets for each microphone. We've got the LUTs already for the video because I shoot the same. Like my light is attached to my tripod. My microphone's attached to my tripod with my camera. It's on wheels, so I can just move it around to wherever. And it's pre-focused. So as long as I sit in the bit where the zebra stripes come on my face, the microphone's at the right distance, the light's at the right distance, the camera's at the right settings. I hit record and just talk. And then it's just like cutting it into like an interesting way. And then same with photography. It's like I do test shoots all the time because the test shoots are what get you the big clients. Like the more creative of a personal project you can shoot, the more ad campaigns you get where they tell you what to do, which makes no sense whatsoever. It's like, here's my creativity, tell me what to do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But that's
when
how
you
it
were
works.
talking before. Yeah, it's kind of odd because like I was sort of, you know, like I love the jobs I'm doing now because I get to I just get to do, they're like, yeah, that sounds great. And then I just do it. And they're like, this is awesome. We love this. Can you just like do more of this? And I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, and I have like full creative reign and it's like so good. But yeah, like when you were describing this, kind of like, you know, moving up, I was getting a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I'd like that. Cause I'm quite oppositional and I'm not a huge fan of being told what to do. So maybe it's like better that I stay in this
Yeah, I mean,
section of it. Like that's why I like YouTube and doing things on my own and like you make the
yes,
video, you're
yeah,
in control, you edit it, you package it up, you send it out, and then it's like people watch it and then, you know, I learn from it and then I can get better and I'm in my like little bubble. Like I quite like that. Yeah.
yeah. I like YouTube for the same reason. Actually, it's like it's exactly what I want to do. Well, I say that
It's
probably
sort
not. I
of
mean,
like, you
yeah,
know,
there's always a compromise. Like if I was doing it how I wanted to do it, then I'd make no money from it. So you do have to play the game, I guess. But yeah, I think in photography, like it seems much easier at the start, but I think once you bring in financial responsibilities, it becomes a very different game.
mm,
Like for me to make the same, if I did what I used to do when I started out, for me to make the same money that I'm making one day now would take me 3 years. And I don't spend more. Like my actual cost of living is the same as it's always been. So I
yeah.
just save it for security. So now I know that like if another pandemic happens, I don't need to stress.
Mm,
There's not going to
yeah.
be like, oh my God, we're going burst. How are we going to feed people?
Mm-hmm.
It is much more of a like, it's fine because I've done these things. And also like commercial photographers, we do like 3 or 4 jobs a year. That's it. So in all the rest of the time, we just play.
Yeah.
And when I say play, we test shoot like
Mm,
relentlessly. And the big difference for me is if I want to build a house as a set in my studio and hire in 6 models from like a top agency, I can afford to do so because I did the boring work.
yeah. Okay.
And
So
that's
that
how I
fuels
sort of like
the things that you
I
want to
can
do.
do yeah, I can do bigger
Mm,
creative jobs.
mm-hmm.
Um, like I can use, I guess, like whatever cameras I want to use. It's like we just did a shoot using like 100, what would it be in your currency, $300,000 camera. And like,
Wow.
if I want to use one of those, I'm going to go and get one of those because we
Yeah.
did the big commercial shoots where I sort of like told what you have to do.
Yes.
So
So that,
I see it as
mm,
like, so I'm very like, obviously I'm self-employed. Don't like doing what I'm told to do. But if I do it and I do it well a few times a year, then I get like a good, like probably what, 320 days of the year where I can do whatever I want and it's financed.
yeah.
Um,
Yes. That's like affording you those like really creative free opportunities. So yeah, it makes sense.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would be willing to do like, yeah, that for, you know, the possibility to then be able to go off and do what you want for sure. But I like that it's still steeped in reality, because I think a lot of photographers and artists and creatives, they get really caught up in like doing just what they want to do and not budging.
Exactly.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always found it really like, you know, I used to live in like a city where everyone was like doing an arts degree and they were at uni and I always worked. Like I come from like a working class family that's just, you know, like didn't have like a whole lot of money. And I always worked. Like I left school when I was 14, got a full-time job, pretty much worked full-time since then until I like had a baby and was off for like maternity leave. And then that's how this whole thing started up because I had time to actually sit and be like, oh, kind of like you with COVID, where you're like, oh, okay, what would I actually like to do? Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I was always sort of a little bit, I'd get a little bit annoyed and resentful with people who were like, well, I, you know, can only work this much because like I need to work on my art and do my thing. And it's like it was their right. And
Yeah.
I'm all
Yeah.
for creativity and for people being artistic, of course. Like I value it very highly, but at the same time, you need to be like realistic and money. You need everybody needs money, and you need to sort of like be providing value a little bit as well. You can't just expect people to give you something for what you're doing or enjoy what you're doing if you're not like extending anything to them. Like that needs to kind of come across as well.
Yeah.
However, that
Absolutely.
does like it's a bit indulgent. I've sometimes like have found it to be, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And I think like, you know, if you're in a position where you don't need to worry about money, then absolutely
Oh,
go
of
for it. But like
course, yeah.
I don't have like there's no one I can phone up and go, I can't afford to pay for
Mm,
food this month. Can you give me 50 quid? They're
yep.
like I don't have that person in my life. I am that
Mm,
person in other people's lives. So like
mhm.
I'm the one who gets the phone call being like, could you loan me some money so I can pay rent, whatever it is. So for me, it has to first of all be financially driven. And then if I can make it work for what I want to do as a creative pursuit, that's great.
Mm,
But I always think like could be worse, could be working in like a full-time job that I hate and
yeah,
only getting evenings to do it in. And I
absolutely.
think a lot of those people you described, once like reality sort of hits and they get to their mid-30s and they've got no pension plan, they've got no savings, no accommodation, and no
Yeah.
life skills, that they end up in quite boring jobs.
Mm.
So I know a lot of these people in their like 40s, and it's like they hate their jobs, they hate their lives.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like making a bit of a like commitment to, I don't know, doing stuff you don't want to do early doors to like pay dividends later on. Like a lot of my friends are currently, so I'm like late 30s, they're working like dogs. And a lot of them are now getting to the point where they go, I hate my career. I only went into this because I had to for financial reasons.
Mm.
And it's very hard to change later in life compared to like changing in your 20s or early 30s. It's like that's
Yeah.
the time to put the work in, I guess. And if anything, I wish I'd done it sooner. I partied too much in my 20s.
Me
Large
too.
parts of my 20s I have no recollection of. And I think it's probably 29 was when I
Mm.
started to think about working.
Mhm.
33 is when I actually started working. And like
Yeah.
if I'd have started when I was younger and not wasted so much time, I'd be in a much better position now. But also perhaps my work wouldn't look the way it does,
I
you know.
100%. I was just gonna say that. Because I think the same thing. Because like I'm 30, 31, 30. No, I'm 30. Sorry, I forgot how old I was. And I have only in the last like 2 years. Like since I had a child, I then decided to do something that's like so much more difficult to do when you have a child because you're like trying to look
Yeah.
after the child and provide for the child. And I was like, now I'm gonna do it. But in a way that kind of really helped me because I only had certain pockets of time. So I worked really, really hard in those pockets of time and we committed to doing it. And it really pushed me because I was like, I need this. So I have an identity outside of, staying at home, being a mum.
Yeah, yeah.
So it worked to kind of fuel me. And whereas before I had so much time and I probably was a little bit one of those like indulgent people that, like I think now I'm like, oh my God, I would like sit around and think about doing something, but then like not do it. Now I'm like taking action big time because
Yeah.
I don't want to
And
be like back at work in a job that I don't like because I have to support my family. Like I want to put the hard yards in and like commit and make it something I enjoy doing that's sustainable and like, has legs. So, yeah, it's interesting how life works out like that.
and I think having less time is really good as well. So like I do the like, I mean, my children are stepchildren. They're not actually my children, biologically.
Okay.
So it's a slightly different, like, I can't think of the word now, like stress. It's
Yes.
like
Yep.
the financial book does not stop with me.
Mhm.
Getting them to places does not stop with like, obviously I
Yeah.
do these things, but like it's not fun. I don't have that like deep inherent responsibility
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
perhaps,
yeah.
that their parents have.
Mm.
But like I do the school run each morning. So I drive them into school or drive the youngest in school, now the others now, big boy school.
Yeah.
So drive them into school, drop him off. By the time I get to work, it's like 9 a.m., whereas before I'd have started at 6.
Yeah.
Um, then like certain days I have to leave at 4 because there's like after school activities and you do like
Yep.
ferrying about with kids and stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, and it sounds like if I started at 6 and worked till 11, which is what my working day used to be, I get much more work done, but I don't. Now it's like I'll be in the car waiting at the school pickup. I've got 20 minutes to kill. I'll do like 30 emails. Whereas
Yeah.
before, if I had 20 minutes to kill, I'll just lay down. I'm
Yes.
like, got
100
time, got time.
100%. I
It's,
am so the same. Any like little bit of time that I can do something, I'm like, yep, I got to
yeah,
use this. Whereas before I was like, oh no, because I've got
all
so
the
much
time in the
time.
world. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Having
it's
those things is quite good.
yeah, it is. I think everybody needs something like that to sort of motivate them to, yeah, for sure. It's super interesting. I was wanting to ask you, obviously from what you've said, photo is not dead. And I'm not trying to say that it is, but how do you feel, maybe not from your position, but like other photographers or somebody like me who's kind of doing a lot of different things? Like, how do you feel and what are your opinions on photography in relation to video? As in like, like when I speak to brands, like I was just offering photography and wasn't really getting anywhere. Now I can give you this many photos and make you some reels or some short form content, getting a lot more like bookings that way. So
Yeah, yeah,
like, yeah, how do you
yeah.
feel about that? And what's your opinion on that whole kind
So
of
I think at like the local level, that's kind of like a must. Like if you're
mm,
working with local brands, small brands, independent brands. When I was doing that, it wasn't really a thing. Like
mhm.
nobody, like video is expensive. No one could afford to
Yeah.
have video done. So it wasn't an option. But now it's like you have to be offering that. Um, and I mean, I shoot a lot of video campaigns.
Okay.
Do a lot of moving images. We've just done 2 actually this year. And the way I got into it was the first time somebody said, we need this ad campaign shooting, but we also need, they wanted a 6-second moving image for digital billboards because they'd just come into the UK, like the big digital billboards. They wanted
Yeah.
those for moving.
Yep.
And my opinion to work has always been say yes and worry about it later. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, we can do that.
Me too.
Thinking, I have no idea what a digital billboard is. Anyway, I went away and Googled it, hired a crew, hired a DOP, a director of photography to hold the camera, hired a focus puller, which I didn't know was a thing. So someone who focuses the camera on this like
Yes,
little
my
screen.
partner
You've
has
got,
one of
like,
those. Yeah, it's got like
yeah,
yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, yeah.
they call them the sharps guy over here. It's
Oh,
like the sharps.
okay. Oh, I'll have to
And
start saying
like, so
that.
yeah, you like go, it's speed, sound, and then someone goes sharps in the corner, and it's like ready to go, and it's like action.
Yeah, okay.
So I just literally said action and cut. This is not that difficult. I can learn how to do this. I can definitely get video sorted. So then the next one, I did the DOP work myself.
Yep.
And had an editor, had a sharps guy, didn't need sound on this one. And then I was like, don't really need to be holding the camera. So we got a DOP in for the one after that again. And then I just direct.
Okay.
So
I
I
love
direct for
that.
the moving image.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different cameras for video. And one of the weird things about when you work at like a higher commercial level is you don't use your own kit. Like everything's rented.
Okay.
And I was having to learn how to use the cameras that like for me, I use like a Blackmagic for YouTube because it's like the most idiot-proof camera in the world. I know how it works, and that's it. So if we're shooting on one of those, I'm good. But a DOP will know how to use like an Alexa, how to use a Red,
Yep.
ARRI cameras and all the rest of it. And
Yep.
they understand things like dual native ISO, which is I've had this guy explain it to me 3 times, and I get like 20 seconds in, and I'm like, I'm no longer
You're
listening.
like, what?
So boring. Like this is painful.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they're like, "Do you get that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I get it. Which one shall I use again?" Put it on 400. Cool. So yeah, now I direct it. Video is absolutely a necessity. In commercial work, you'll lose jobs if you don't offer it.
I think so.
But it doesn't mean you need to be able to do it. You
Okay, so
can just
hiring
facilitate
someone
it.
else to
Yeah.
okay, yeah. That's a concept that I have just sort of it sounds really silly, but like, yeah, I'm like, oh, I need to do that. But I hired a model for something the other week, and then I was like, oh, that was really good, and invoiced the client for it, and then I had someone else ask me for more models, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to try and find out how to get more models that look however you want them to look, like where am I gonna find them, and yeah, so like I was like, oh, hiring people, like I mean, it sounds really obvious, but yeah, if you can't, do something, or you come up with a concept and then you get the people around you to kind of you place them around you to make it happen, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's important. Like everybody has like a very specific skill set. It's like my Digitech, what he does, only he can do on set, like to the level he does it at. And like a lot of people on YouTube, like, what do you mean you don't retouch your own images? It's not your photo if you don't retouch it. I was thinking, what do you think happened in the film days? Do you think the photographer then went to the dark room, developed his own film, printed his own film, retouched his own film, and then digitized it? Like,
Yeah.
it just didn't. Like, there was the odd one, and who was the lady who did it as well? Nan Golding.
Oh yes.
Did she
Jane
develop her
Gordon,
own
yeah.
slides?
Yeah. I think so,
No,
maybe.
I can't remember now. I know she had a lot of involvement in her like
Yeah.
output
Her work
process.
is
But like,
amazing. Yeah.
I love Nan Golding's work.
Yeah.
She's a real like. I mean, she's not a commercial photographer to start with. It's much more documentary in a way that I don't think those photographers will exist again in the future.
No, I think that too.
Which is
Yeah.
such a shame.
It is.
Like,
yeah. There's a lot of photographers where like that I really, really like Larry Clark and, I mean, I'm like I know he's not the best guy, but like Terry Richardson and like that kind of look of things. And
definitely not the best guy.
no, but like from as in that like kind of like you don't really see photographers anymore that like household names or maybe not as far as
it's
household names,
definitely
but it's not really a thing anymore. Like you can't think of like Petra Collins. She got quite
yeah.
popular and she did really well in that sort of like she was just cool and taking cool photos and then she just blew up. But I feel like does that happen anymore or like yeah, like do photographers kind of get famous in that way or yeah, it's I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's definitely a change, but like, yeah, can't think of many. I mean, like most of my favorite photographers date. Like, I mean, when I was a portrait photographer, I was a big fan of Annie Leibovitz.
Mm.
Not necessarily her work, but her like way of being, I guess.
Mm.
And like she barely does anything herself. Like, that's,
That's so true.
she
Yeah.
doesn't even do the camera settings herself. Like, someone does that
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, look at William Eggleston.
I love
He
Eggleston.
doesn't do much of his own stuff.
Yeah.
Like most of that's done for him.
Mm.
But like without his brain,
Yes.
all the people further down the chain can't create anything.
Anything without him
But
being
without those
the-
people further down the chain, he can't create anything. And I
Mm.
think like on sets, it's very much that way of like when you're outsourcing stuff, it's like I could learn how to use Photoshop, but if I spend all my time learning that, I'll no longer be able to focus on my creative output,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
means I'll then be a retoucher. Like you can't do
Mm.
everything. You have to outsource so much of it.
Mm.
And I remember like the first time I got a cleaner for the studio, I was like, I'm getting a cleaner. And it takes them like 2 hours to clean the studio. It takes me like 6 hours and I do a bad job.
Yep.
And the amount of time it frees up for me, those 6 hours for the cost
Yeah.
of having somebody who knows what they're doing and therefore
Yeah.
can do it more efficiently
Mhm.
and quicker.
Mm.
I was like, it's a no-brainer. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
outsourcing is a really big,
Huge. Yeah,
big
I've
thing
done
to
it
be
a little
doing.
bit lately and it's been really game changing. Like I got like a VA to help me with my newsletter. Like I write it, but she puts it all together. Cause I was like, I'm sitting here like linking things and putting image, you know what I mean? Like, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh, maybe
it
someone
takes
else
time,
can
doesn't it?
take so much time and it's not very creative, like as in, you know, that part. So like someone else can do that. And my parents just retired and I hired my mum and she's cleaning for me and like looking after Luca. And oh my God, I walked in today and I was like, like my house is like sparkling clean. Took her like 2 hours, takes me ages because I do it in like drips and drabs and then it's never done properly. And I'm really
Yeah.
frustrated and then I'm annoyed. And then like, you know, you have an argument with your partner and you're like, oh, and it just sucks up all your energy. So I think that's really good advice, even if it's just something small that you can kind of get, someone else to like, you really need other people in this.
Yeah,
I mean, in all
definitely.
walks of life, but in this industry, I think like it's sort of
But
teamwork.
I think the sort of impression that's given off by like a lot of YouTube channels and places are like it's one person who does everything.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, even on YouTube, like I have help on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't do it all myself
Yeah.
because it's just it's not financially viable to do it all myself, but also I just don't have the skill sets to do certain parts of it. Like, I did an entire day's filming once with my camera set to time lapse mode. I was like, why have I only got 1 minute of footage? I was like having people just to go like my digi guy, if he comes in on a Saturday, I'll probably film on the Sunday. And I'd be like, can you set up my camera for me? Make sure it's in focus, all these bits and pieces. So I know that I have a good day when I'm doing the bit that I know how to do, which is presenting to the camera. But yeah, outsourcing for the win. I'm a big fan of outsourcing.
Yeah, I love that. And I love hearing this about you because, you know, like it's really, really nice that you share like all of this because it gives other people a chance to kind of be like, oh yeah, like I could consider that. Maybe I could start a YouTube channel if I had like these people to help me or whatever. Cause we do put people on a pedestal. Like, I mean, I have my own YouTube channel, but like I watch you and I'm like, oh wow, you're like banging out the content, you know, like, oh, you must just be so onto it. And I mean, not that you're not, but like you've got, you know, these people around you. So it's like,
there's all like systems in place and people in place.
Yeah.
And like,
it's nice to
there's
hear
probably
other
10
people's
different
processes.
people in my studio each week.
Yeah.
Like, probably about 10 different people.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
but obviously like on like Instagram and YouTube, you just see me. So it looks like
you
I'm
just
like
see the
super,
end.
super on it. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with social media. You just see like the end product and you don't see all the, it was like today I was filming for some like reels and it was like so boring. Like it wasn't boring, like it was good, but like each shot was like me pretending to look through something in a shop. So it felt really awkward. And it was just kind of like, it felt really lame. But then when I saw the end product, I was like, oh, looks so good. Looks like we're having loads of fun.
Yeah.
And you edit this thing and it's like, well, then when you think about the job, it was like kind of a lot of waiting around, a lot of planning that wasn't really like that fun or trying to get things or I didn't get that, get it again. And, you know, like repeating things and things are never as glamorous as you think they are.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we were supposed to be in New York shooting next week. My mate was like, that's so cool. Like 10-day shoot in New York. That'd be awesome. Sadly, we lost the job. But the actual realities of going to New York means losing 6 hours sleep because of a flight, getting ill on the second day, going to a studio and working American hours, which is like 12-hour days back to back.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then going from the studio to your hotel, drinking a couple of pints, going to bed, waking up feeling exhausted, going back again, flying back, being even more jet lagged in the opposite direction for the 6 hours and going straight to another set.
Yep.
And it's like, it's not going to see the
You're
cool
like,
parties and
yeah.
like the,
Yeah. You're not going on like
you
a
know,
holiday. Yeah. Or like, kind
yeah.
of, yeah.
We used to shoot in Paris a lot. And everyone's like, oh, you're off to Paris? And I'm like, yeah, nightmare. They're like, oh, you don't know how lucky you
Lucky
are. I'm
you
like,
are.
I'm going to go and stay in a hotel which doesn't have air conditioning because the Parisians refuse to accept that it's a thing. It's
Yeah.
40 degrees heat over there, and we're working in an industrial estate.
Oh God.
Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing glamorous about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you
That's
get the
the
joys of
reality.
like trying to get gear through customs and the carnet forms and the questioning and constantly getting pulled aside and having everything taken apart and every single item
Oh
checked against the
God.
carnet form. And it's just, and everyone's like, and I was like, can we just do it from my studio? Like, everything's here.
Can we just do it
And
here?
it's like, even in the UK, it's like, no, we're doing it in London. I'm like, okay, I'll travel an hour. We'll spend like an
Yeah.
extra few £1,000s renting kit and
Mm.
for extra hotels and stuff. But like, it's just the way the industry is, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
rather just be here at home.
Yes, I feel that too. I like doing shoots as much as we can, like in-house, like in our actual house. We did one the other week that actually looked really good. We moved everything around and I was like, I can't believe this is like in our house. But it was a lot more work to make it look good because, you know, it's just a normal house. But I was like, this is good because I like being here. Is like
Yeah.
when I go to restaurants, like they're always sort of, you know, they're looking at what you're doing and then they're coming over and saying things and like you're in their environment, you know? So
Yeah.
it's very different. But I think you need to do these things as a photographer though, because I've done so many things lately and I've figured out what I do and don't like. And I always really take note of that. Like I always sort of walk away from it and go, really didn't enjoy that. Or like, did I not enjoy it just because it was like the first time and I need to give it a little bit more of a go? Or is it because that's really not what I want to be doing? Like, did I feel good about it? You know, and then what do I like and how could I get more of that work that I feel really comfortable and confident kind of in, you know? I think they're
Yeah,
good
definitely.
things
And
to
I think
ask
it's good to
yourself.
self-reflect as well. Because like there's certain jobs that I just say no to now. When like certain types of briefs come in, I'm just like, not doing that. Like not
Yeah.
for, like, well, not, there's always a price. Like there's
Everyone's got their price. Yeah.
my agent's always like, how much money would you need to do this? And I always like, I'm like, this is the number for them to do that. And I went, if we don't get it, I don't care. I'm not interested in doing it. But if they're willing to pay me this much, it's we call it cash cow or portfolio work. Like the
Okay.
job either has to be so cool that I can use it in my portfolio, which most jobs aren't,
Mm.
or it has to pay so much money that I don't care what I'm shooting.
Yeah.
And they're like the
Okay.
two reasons to take a photograph.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like, but I mean, like even go back to like traveling and doing shoots elsewhere. Like for the sort of work I do, I find like we were doing a job and I'm like, I need that one clamp that I've got at my studio that we didn't get from the rental house to do this. And like that gives it always gives me the fear. It's like, what don't we have? Like,
Mm.
what is it we don't have with us today that we need? And it's
Yes.
never like something big, like a light or something. It's always some bizarre, like odd Manfrotto clamp that they made in the 70s that I just so happen to have. So I'm like a real hoarder of niche equipment. Like, there's certain light modifiers that I just like whenever they're available in the UK, I just buy all of them and store them because there's like
Wow.
a different quality to the light in my work to most people. And it's not like any weird like technique. It's because I buy stuff that no one
Yeah.
else has got. And like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
recreate it because they don't have the
They don't
tool.
have the tools.
Um,
Yeah.
exactly.
Totally.
Which
That's
is a
kind of,
weird way into it, but
yeah, I think I relate to that through film. I mean, obviously, you know, most people can access film, but I feel that way. Like, you know, that's very much a part of my process. So I don't take any. I tried to do like a couple of jobs with digital, but I like rarely shoot digital, and it just didn't come off. And I felt really like icky about the result because I was like, oh, this isn't me. Not to say there's anything wrong with digital. It's just I have no post processing skills. Like I don't edit anything that comes back from my lab because they're amazing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it just looks like bang on. So that's like perfect for me. And I don't know. I'm just so used to shooting like that that's just how I do it. And I just feel awkward in any other way. So that's just like what I do. And that's like all I do. And I'm willing to accept that
Yeah,
that's
and
probably not gonna like get me very far in, you know,
I don't
professional
know,
work,
like
maybe. I don't know.
I know loads of commercial photographers who shoot exclusively film.
Oh, really?
Like it's really common. Like if you want to try and get like hold of a Mamiya RZ67 in the UK,
Yeah.
it's impossible
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's a few people who they've got like 15 in their studio.
Yeah.
It's like this
okay.
is like the rest of my career in 6.7 cameras.
Yes.
And it's the same with like I mean I got a bit greedy and I bought all the Fuji 400H film in 120 rolls. I've
Did
got a freezer
you?
full of it.
Yes.
It's like tens of thousands of pounds of it. But
yeah.
I did the same with Kodachrome.
Yep.
Like an idiot, I kept hold of it for too long. And now I've got Kodachrome you can't shoot. Well, you can shoot it, but you
But it
only black
won't.
and white, like stand develop it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
You don't
I
want
sent
that
like
stuff
my last
hanging
like
around.
no, I sent like my last 20 rolls to Dwayne's in Texas or something like that. I think like the last place going. I was like, I've sent all my rolls. It's coming via courier from the UK. It cost me a fortune.
Yeah.
I was like,
can
please develop
imagine.
please. So I was photographing random stuff going, I can't believe I've got all this film left over. But yeah, so you know, you'll often have like an assistant because the assistant's job is often to get the kit ready for the next job. And if you're using like proper like hardcore London crew, they'll be like, I've just got to go and make a phone call because the photographer's just told me he wants the 800 speed portrait, not the 400 speed. I need to get hold of 30 boxes of the pro packs of 5. I need 30 of those ready for tomorrow. And everyone's got limits on how many you can buy. So you have to know somebody who will let you buy more than the limit from the shop. And like,
oh my
yeah,
God.
but film's very much still a big thing.
Yeah. So
and
you see a lot of it and you like.
Yeah, I'd say probably 20% of the photographers still shoot film exclusively, like at a commercial level.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
More so in fashion and portraiture, not really very much in my work just lends itself to digital.
Yeah.
Like the only thing you'd shoot if it wasn't digital would be like Ektar 100.
Yeah. I
But
love
like
Ektar.
the reason, but it looks digital. It scans well. It's
It
like
does.
it's the best scanning film.
It does. So
but
many
it's
shots I've
like
taken on Ektar and they look like you know, like bright, like midday sun, like white building, blue sky. And I'm like, oh, it's so good. And like I'm like, why this could be digital. Like, why am I shooting film?
yeah. So like, I mean, I shoot a lot of Ektar like for personal stuff, but I do it because I don't want to look at a computer screen afterwards.
Yeah.
I get the print like proper chemical prints back
Nice.
of my work.
Yep.
But yeah, it just looks like digital to me.
Yeah.
Like I can create the Ektar look in about 10 seconds in Capture One with any raw file from any digital camera. Whereas stuff like Portra or like the 400H or like Ilford films, you can't recreate that digitally.
Yeah, 100%.
I know people are, I've made a preset of like, doesn't look the same.
It doesn't look the same, no. Even like like I've been shooting a lot of Ultramax and like just consumer films for work because I really like the way that looks. A very kind of 90s looking.
Yeah, so the 90s point and shoot party
like,
look.
Yeah, and it just looks so cool. And like I just feel like you can't really ever really recreate that. Like a little bit with the Digicam sort of thing, like that has that sort of vibe, but it's still not like it's not the same. So
yeah, but then like for like any commercial work, the Digicams just don't have the resolution.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as the client's like, can we just crop in a bit? You're like, nope.
No, we can't.
No, we can't. We need all 6 of those megapixels. Whereas with the film, it's like, I mean, 35 millimeter film is what, 20 megapixel file?
Yeah.
Like a proper scan.
Yep.
And then like, I mean, I still use Mamiya Secor RZ lenses on my digital cameras. So I've got like a bellows system, so it's like a 4x5 with a digital camera on the back and the Mamiya 6.7 lenses on the front. And they're so detailed.
Yeah.
They out-resolve any lens that Canon's ever made.
Wow.
And they cost what? $1,000 each?
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe less.
Yeah.
Whereas like a Canon lens costs. Last one I bought was like 2,500.
Yeah, loads.
Really rubbish.
Yeah.
And there's no like characteristic to the lens. It's just like
anything. Yeah. It's really lacking.
The build quality is really bad. Like I couldn't get over how rubbish it was. Like I can't remember which lens it was. It was some Canon lens. And prior to that, I'd only ever owned like either Sigma art lenses because they're like the cheapest good lens you can buy, or Carl Zeiss Milvus lenses, which are like really premium and they feel premium.
Yeah.
And the Canon lens was like a lightweight plastic thing with bits of glass in it. I was like, I can't believe the hype on these. It's so badly made.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. So sorry, I feel like I'm having such a nice time chatting to you. I'm forgetting that we're even recording for YouTube, which is like I think that's a good thing. I think that makes for a better listening experience as well. You seem to be very like dedicated, and I know you have a cycling background? Like that's what you did
Yes.
before?
Yeah.
Yes. And I think with any sort of sport, I don't really know that much about sport, but you've got to be dedicated with sport and you've got to kind of, like be in a routine, I would assume. And you seem to be, very committed and very dedicated. Like you work things out with your systems and processes and then you're efficient and all of that. So is that like a personality trait of yours, or perhaps it's something that came from your cycling background, or have you just sort of always been like that and that's how you are? Or am I reading you completely wrong and you're like, oh my God, Lucy,
No.
no.
I think that's a good interpretation. It's hard to say. Autism runs in my family, so that could be a major
Okay.
part of it.
Okay.
I'm not diagnosed as autistic, but I have my suspicions. But then I started sport really young. I was a swimmer, so we used to swim twice a day. So up at 4 a.m, very
Okay.
regimented.
Yeah.
Every day was exactly the same. In terms of like this time this happens, and then when I became a cyclist, that's much more like training 30 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very regimented lifestyle. And then I went to university. I did sports science as an undergrad and physiology as a postgrad. And again, I continued to train throughout that, like, quite like not for any reason. I don't know why I was doing it, but I continued to train as if I was an athlete for no apparent
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of being an athlete, especially a cyclist, was like, this is the goal of the year. This is what we need to do to achieve it. And this is how we're going to break it down from today until the point of achieving that goal. So in photography, I do it the same way. It's like I changed agents recently. I wanted a bigger agent. I was like, right, I want a bigger agent. How do I attract a bigger agent? Here's what we do. Work out what it is a bigger agent would want, and then work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
At the moment, I'm trying to get into some TV directing for commercials. Nearly landed my first one recently, which I was gutted it didn't come off. It would have been a great first one to do. But I was like, right, if I want to direct a TV commercial, what is it I need to be showing ad agencies? Okay, here's what they need to see for me to direct a TV commercial. How do I do that? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? And then we work it backwards. And then I literally have a yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily plan. So every day, every minute is planned towards the goal at the end of the year.
Oh
And
my
that's sort of how I
God.
work it,
So I did
which
read
is
you
quite
completely right,
psychopathic
yeah.
in it. It's like, yeah. But it's little things like, so my desk is left tidy when I leave. My desk is that one back there for when I'm doing photography. This desk is my when I'm doing YouTube. So I change desks depending on which job I'm doing.
Okay.
So my notebooks and computer here are completely different to my notebooks and computer over there.
Wow.
Even have a different telephone over there. So it's like,
Oh my
telephone
God.
sounds so old.
Yeah,
so I
I was
literally like change jobs. I come off this one, go over there, and it's like phone number changes
Yeah.
everything. But it's like I come in, get in, turn the kettle on first. Whilst the kettle's on, I make my greens and my protein shakes. Have them separately. Have the greens first, and the protein shake second. Come and sit down. The coffee's ready to make my pour over coffee. Sit down, turn the computer on, and I do the 3 tasks at the top of my to-do list for that day, which are the most 3 horrific tasks. I always do the worst things
The
first.
worst things first, like eat the frog. Is
Yeah.
that the yeah.
Yeah. And then like I
Yeah.
don't check my emails until after lunchtime.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I'll send an email if I have to send one, but I won't check them.
Okay.
And then I go through my days, like tasks that I have to do. I leave at 5:30 on the dot, unless it's a shoot day, and then it's like whatever. It's whenever we go, but like 5:30 on the dot, I leave. I get home.
Yeah.
I sit down. My youngest is normally just finishing his fruit, which he has 8 grapes because he's 8, and then like, I don't know what's going to happen when he's like 50. He's like
50
fiber
grapes.
intake will be insane. And then yeah, I'm not sure where the 8 grapes came from, but yeah. Then he'll have his pudding, and then I will do his bath time routine. He has his bath time routine. I put him to bed, read his story, come downstairs. We watch some TV with the older kids for stuff they want to watch, which he obviously can't watch. They then go to bed. Partner and I then put Netflix on. My laptop comes out, and that's when I start doing the planning work, like YouTube videos. So whilst we're watching Netflix, I'll start typing down 100 YouTube video titles. Or it'll be like 10 test shoot ideas. It's like stuff that I can do sitting down with a TV on in the background.
Yeah.
And pretty much every day is the same. And it's like very regimented. I have the same breakfast, same lunch. And then whatever dinner is happening at the house is what I have for dinner. Yeah. It's only own black t-shirts, wear the same t-shirt every day. So it's like get up, t-shirt goes on, jeans go on. And like, that's it. It's like no decision making.
Yeah.
Very, very regimented. So instead of going, oh, what top shall I wear today? If I wake up and go, what breakfast shall I have? What top shall I have?
Yeah, it's like the
should I go to a
decision
cafe on the way to work? It's like, no.
Yeah.
We do this, this, this. And as soon as I get to work,
Mm.
I've not made a single decision. And the first decision
Yeah.
I make is actually something work
Then you're
related.
really fresh. Yeah. I'm reading this book
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment called it's called At Your Best. I can't remember who the author is. I got it from the library. And it's I think you would like, I mean, you're probably already doing it. I don't really think you need to read it. I think I need to read it and probably everyone listening needs to read it. But it's like talking about restructuring your time and how you do things to get time back. So like he goes through like your green zone, your yellow zone, your red zone, and like kind of applying tasks to when your like energy is at its highest. So like the things that are
Yeah, yeah.
important and not like wasting your like precious sort of green zone time on something like checking your emails, which is like very like you could do that when you're like a bit tired and whatever, you know what I mean? Or like things that suck up
Absolutely.
your time. And he talks about hijacked priorities. And I've only read like a quarter of it, but I'm like, wow, this is a really good way of looking at things. And I'm starting to try and sort of implement that because I am getting very busy and having to make a lot of decisions, and I'm getting a lot of emails and just things are really piling up. And I've never had a job like that. I've like worked in hospitality, just like waitressing, which is like you get no emails when you're a waitress,
Yeah.
So it's like
Well, I
very,
think
very
like
different.
the best advice on emails is you don't have to respond to emails.
Yeah. Okay.
Like people feel like, and it's amount of one-to-ones I have with people, like mentorships. Like I'm like, at the end of each week, I'll probably have 15,000 unread emails, and I just hit mark all as read.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
If
my
it's urgent,
God.
they'll
I
phone.
always feel really bad. And I feel bad if I don't get back to like every comment and my DMs. I'm like, I can see someone's like, hey,
But
Lucy, do you know? And I'm like, oh, they're probably asking me a camera question. Like, I really, like, I feel bad.
but
And it
you
wakes
like,
me up
yeah.
at
I mean,
night.
I would love to like, but you'll get to a point where it's not sustainable, and you
Yeah.
don't get paid to reply to emails, and you just have to go. I mean, I always think like if someone sends an email with a question in it to me, like a photographer from the YouTube channel, and I'm like, that's a good question. I'll make a video because then I
Yeah.
can let 10,000
Then
people
people
know
know.
the answer to
Yeah.
it rather than
Yeah.
one person. And
Yep.
it's a better use of your time to tell
Mm.
10,000 people than it is to explain for
Yeah.
one
I love
person.
that. Yeah.
So I do read a lot of emails, and a lot of DMs on Instagram and stuff. I just don't reply because
Yeah.
I also think like if I reply to this email, I miss story time with the kids.
Yeah.
Like there's a like, what is this worth to
Mm.
me
Mm-hmm.
to miss like time with the family? Like, is it worth me responding to every comment on my video,
Mm.
or should we go and read like this book that the kids wanted reading every night for the last 10 years on repeat? Like, what's a more important choice there? So,
Yeah.
and I think as you get more busy, it's much easier because at one point I was like, I've got to reply to all of these. And then once my emails were getting to such a point that like your phone's just stuck on like 999 plus for the email and like missed calls and stuff, it's like, well, this is not manageable anymore. It's like I can employ somebody to reply to them, but I'm going to be paying them to do stuff which doesn't make me money. I just
Mm.
won't do it. And it's like it's quite liberating just to go, I don't respond to
Yeah.
emails. Like unless it's directly for a job,
Mm.
probably only send like 20, 30 emails a day now. Whereas maybe 4 years ago I was sending like 300 emails a day.
Yeah.
I
Wow. Oh my
just
God.
stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good email advice. Thank you. And thanks for getting back to
Yeah, don't
my
respond to emails.
email. I think I thank you for coming on. Yeah, that's so much game-changing advice. You've got so many great tips. Thank you for sharing, Scott.
More than
I
welcome.
wanted to end with any sort of, I know it's a very broad question, but like any advice you would give sort of a photographer like right now in this, where we're at right now for people listening who are like, either they'd like to be you or, they'd like to be a photographer for hire in some sort of capacity and, live out that life. What are the things that you would tell them to do or not to do?
I would say the biggest bit of advice and the advice that I've seen the most success come from is to choose the aesthetic that you like and just shoot that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't shoot anything else outside of it. Like if you go to my website, every photograph, like it looks like I shot it.
Yep.
There's no like, oh, that's a bit of something different. A lot of photographers come in and go, oh, I need to do a bit of this, bit of that, try some of this, try some of that. It's like, no, pick the one thing. If you could only take one photograph ever in your lifetime, think of what that one photograph would be and go and do that and just keep doing that. And that is the only way to get noticed in the industry because otherwise you're just part of the wall of noise.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. I think you said in a video, the video did really well. It was a couple of months ago. And you sort of said a similar thing, like if, people come to you when they want like feedback or portfolio reviews and, they're like, I need to get this shot and do this kind of work and have that in my portfolio because that's what everyone else does. So that's the standard and that's what I need to do. And you're like, no, because then you're just, or like, well done, you've nailed that, but like it just looks like everyone else's and you're
Yeah.
just part of the noise. And not saying look at me, I'm doing so well or talk myself up at all, but I think the part of why I've had success is because I'm quite ignorant technically. And I am like, oh yeah, I'm going to come in and shoot it. I'm going to shoot it with a point and shoot. And like, I don't really think many people would really like, not a lot of people would do that. Or they would think I've got to get to this point before I start charging. And I was like, if you want me to shoot it, I'm going to shoot it how I shoot my personal work. So your restaurant will look like Lucy Lumen shot your restaurant. Like, and if that's what you want, then that's great. And I think that's why I'm experiencing like some level of success. I would attribute it to that because it's different. So it doesn't have to be better or the best or know everything, but being different, I think, is worth more,
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
now.
It's really hard to be better than someone else, but it's really easy to be different.
So true.
And
Love that.
you stand out just as much being different as you do being better.
Yeah.
It's like if I try to be better than like one of the guys at my agency, like Barry, who does these like wicked slow-mo TV commercials, like big robots and like the cool movements and stuff.
Yeah.
If I tried to get better than him, that'd be really hard. But if I just do something different, that's quite easy. I just go, well, I like the look of this. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same with the kids talking about like point and shoot cameras and stuff. Every big commercial photographer I know shoots on some random bit of kit.
Yeah.
It's like there's one like drinks guy shoots on a Leica, which is like not the tool for the job, but he's like, just like the brand. Really like the brand. It's like, I mean, a lot of them use like phase ones and Hasselblads. But then like there's another guy I know who shoots a lot of still life, and he shoots on is it the 500 cm Hasselblad, but with a digital back.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like the most temperamental camera in the
Mm.
world because you've got the digital back running off the PC sync on the lens, and obviously always doesn't work because it's like a 70-year-old camera.
Yeah.
But he's turning up like shooting like an advert which is going to be in Vogue or something on that camera.
Yeah, I love that shit
like,
though. I love really
everyone's got like weird little quirky cameras, and
yeah, I think
I
that
know a
stuff
lot
really
of people
brings it, like it makes it you know? Like
yeah, well they're just like, I'm going to use it every day. I want to have fun. It's why I use I use a Cambo Actus. It's got all these like little knobs and twizzly bits to like tilt, shift, swing, rise and fall. And it's very pleasing to use. And people are like, do I need that? I'm like, absolutely not. This isn't. I just really like the twiddly knobs on it. It feels like a camera. Whereas I know a couple of guys bought the Canon mirrorless system cameras, and they all took them back to the shop. They're like, firstly, they don't work well with flash. And secondly, the digital viewfinder thing is horrific. So I'm going to spend all day on a computer tonight. I don't want to be looking at a computer readout all day. Just on an optical viewfinder. So they all just went and bought Canon 5D Mark IVs again.
Yeah. It's crazy. That's so interesting to hear what people are using in those sort of settings, you know, because you think of it as like they're using the top of the line thing, or, you know, like you just have all these perceptions of things, and then speaking to someone like you, it's like so interesting to get like this little.
Yeah, I mean, like the digital camera on the back of mine's like a 5DS, which is like from 2014, 2013.
Yeah. Crazy.
Like, there's not been a better camera, like technically.
Yeah.
Which isn't a medium format digital camera bought out since that was bought out.
Yeah.
There's been loads of cameras that have come out, but they're not actually better.
It's like hit a point for sure. Yeah. I think everyone's really realizing that now too. And I think that's why a lot of people are getting interested in film, or like even like, like the, you know, Digicam thing's so popular on YouTube, and, you know, everyone's really loving that and really embracing going back to, I think. That's
especially the CCD
continue.
sensors.
Yes. Yeah. That's very.
I was always, we use the Phase, I think it's called a P65 Plus, which is like a 645 digital back with a CCD sensor.
Okay.
Which is like 50 megapixels or something insane like that.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
It looks like film, but is digital.
Yeah.
Because it's a CCD, and like the colors and the skin tones are so beautiful.
Yeah.
You can buy one of those digital backs now for 3,000.
Yeah.
Whereas they'll probably, I don't know what they'd have been, like 150,000 brand new.
Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, it's crazy.
All becoming affordable now.
Yeah. So interesting. Oh, well, thank you so much for this, Scott.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Eye-opening. I feel like I spent the whole conversation going, wow, like at all the things that you were like, no, in a good way, like, you know, because you just shared so much. And I'm such a big fan of your YouTube channel. Normally I say to people, where can people come and say hello and check out your work? But I think people can just watch your YouTube videos, give you a comment and let you know what they think. And
Yeah, I mean, I do read all the comments despite not replying to them all. And I do a little thing where I do that, the like you can do,
yes,
so
I
they
do
know
that.
that you've
Yeah,
liked it.
yeah, then I feel like, is
That's
that
how I
enough?
check off what I've
Yeah.
read.
Okay.
I'm
Yep.
like, I don't have time to respond and go, thanks. But like, I do read them all because there's also like, there's really good questions in them.
Yeah.
Like people will ask a question. I'm like, that's a really good question. I'll make a video about that.
Yeah. That's such a good tip. Yeah. I have been doing that a little bit. Like if I get a question more than once, I'm like, oh, okay, people want this. I'll make a video about it. But yeah, just taking like the one question and just answering it. And then you're spreading it to a lot more people than just like that one kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yes. So good. I love your advice and I love what you do, Scott. So keep doing it. Have you got
thank you very
anything
much.
exciting coming up? Or are you just kind of like, doing your
I've got a
thing?
very big shoot coming up in 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I don't think I can say what it is.
Okay, that's all right.
So
We'll all
but
wait.
it's very cool. It's they've literally asked me to do me to this massive brand. Which is
Amazing.
kind of full circle back to the cafe days of being asked just to
Yes.
do pictures.
Yeah.
But it's for like it's the biggest brand in the world in their industry. So it's like a big deal.
Wow.
So I think we're just signing that off today actually. I think I'm going home for the rest of the day and sitting by my phone waiting for my agent to phone up and go, crack the champagne out, you're good to go.
Yay,
So
how exciting. Well
about it.
done. So good. Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Scott. And
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'll speak to you soon. I really appreciate you making the time. This was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. See ya. Bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.